Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Sports 2.0 show. I'm Ryan Goetson here with my favorite colleague, Aaron Yagaroff. How are you doing today, Aaron?
Doing good. Excited for tonight's Game 6 matchup. It's going to be a great game. Had a great last few days. Been home alone, so been by myself. Just been able to do whatever I want at home. So excited for this huge Game 6 matchup. What about you?
Yeah, I'm very excited too. Had a great weekend, spent some time with my family and friends. What'd you do?
I've been just chilling. Like I said, my brother's in Montana right now, and then my mom's out in the Hamptons. So I'm home alone right now, and it's been chill. I'm going to a soccer game tomorrow night, which will be a lot of fun. And
Nice,
yeah.
nice. Well, let's get right into it. We're going to be talking about the best bets for Game 6 tonight between the Suns and the Bucks. Aaron, you want to talk about a few prop bets that you like?
Yeah, the first bet I really like is DeAndre Ayton over 1.5 assists. When you think of DeAndre Ayton, you do not think of assists ever. In his last two games, firstly the one that they just lost in game five in Phoenix, he had one assist only, which obviously you're like, oh, that's not great, 20 points. But when they were in Milwaukee in game four, when it was a super close game, he had 5 assists. He was looking for 3-point shooters a lot in that game. Plus 134 is great odds. And him just on the pick and roll with Paul and Booker, he'll be able to find some great 3-point shooters. Whoever is not in it, could be Paul, it could be Booker, it could be Cam Johnson, it could be Jake Crowder. Many other players are great 3-point shooters on that team. So he'll be in the post sometimes or even rolling to the basket and looking for a great option. I think over 1.5 assists plus 134 is a great odds for this bet.
I like that. I like that. That's a nobody would ever think to bet on a Aiden's assist, but 1.5 is so low. I think you got to take it.
Yeah, he had 5 assists the last time they were in Milwaukee, and it was a 6-point game. So I think that's a great bet.
One bet I like that's not as low key is Booker over 30.5 points. Minus 116, I think, is actually very favorable odds. As everyone knows, he's scored back-to-back 40-point games. He's been on fire. And that was in foul trouble in both games. So I don't expect Booker to be in foul trouble tonight. I expect Monty Williams to really relying on him heavily in a closeout game. Chris Paul's been struggling a little bit, and Booker's obviously their main source of offense. So I don't see him shying away. He's gonna just even if he doesn't even shoot efficiently, which he has been, but even if he doesn't, just because of the volume alone, I think he's gonna get over 30.5 points. And to piggyback off that, I like his over 2.5 3-pointers, plus 105. Yes, he's only scored 3 threes in the past 3 games. But honestly, I just think that was just in the flow of the offense. I think they were taking away the three. He was taking what he can give them. Um, but Booker's a great 3-point shooter. He's a career 35% shooter from behind the arc, and the moment's never too big for him. And I see him. I see him getting 3 3-pointers. And I wouldn't even be surprised if it happens as soon as the first half. Any other bets you like, Aaron?
I'm just talking about what you guys said. I think the over 30.5 point bets is a great bet. I think that should be hit. Like you mentioned, the last two 40-point games, even in foul trouble, he's been shooting more than 28 shots the last two games. The over 2.5 3-pointers, I'm not the biggest fan of because we've mentioned he has only scored more than two 3-pointers in one or over 2.2 3-pointers in one game, and that was game two. And he's been 2 for 4 game five, 0 for 3 game four, 1 for 7 game three. He went 7 for 12, which was amazing in game two, and then which seems like ages ago, and 1 for 8 in game one. So I'm not the biggest fan of that. But we're going to stay with the Phoenix Suns. We're going to go back to what I mentioned earlier, DeAndre Ayton. We're going to go with his rebounds this time. I think if he stays out of foul trouble, he will be getting tons of rebounds in this game. He's been in a little foul trouble in this series because he has been guarding Giannis. He only got 10 rebounds last game, only in quotes. The last time they were in Milwaukee, he had 17 rebounds and stayed out of foul trouble. So I think if they want to win this game, they need to get rebounds both on the offensive and defensive part of the board. We all know the Bucks are one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the league, and DeAndre Ayton will be the biggest player on the court for Phoenix physically and every other way because he's going to be guarding Giannis, has to stay out of foul trouble, and guess has to get those rebounds. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts on this one?
I like this bet a lot too. I think 12.5 is pretty favorable for Aiden, and minus 110, great odds. Aiden is one of the only guys on the Suns that really gobbles all the rebounds. I mean, obviously Bridges, Cam Johnson, even Booker sometimes crashes the boards. But if you think about it, Aiden's one of their only true big men on the team. Dario Saric got injured earlier in the series.
Yeah, Frank Kaminsky's not playing that much either. So he played last game and played decently, but we all know Kaminsky is some. Oh no, he didn't play last game. He played in game 5, but that was or game 4 because that was they're getting destroyed. But when he's even on the court, he's playing as usually a 3-point threat or something like that.
Exactly. So I it's kind of similar to Booker's over bet for points. This is just based on volume. I mean, yes, he's going against a great rebounder in Giannis and Brook Lopez not so much, but Giannis really controls the boards. But I mean, who else is going to get the boards for this? I like Aiden controlling the rebounds as well.
Speaking about Brook Lopez, we know he's not a great rebounder, but we have my bet right here is over 2 threes for Brook Lopez. He's been shooting not great in the series. We all know he's going to shoot multiple shots from the 3-point line, shooting 2 shots last game and shooting 5 for the game before. So he is a great 3-point shooter, 4 in the game before that. So he's a great 3-point shooter. Hasn't been doing that well from 3-point land, but I like these plus 225 odds a lot. If you just throw $10, $20, $250, or even if you want to throw 100, get 225 return. I think it's a great investment for this bet for Brook Lopez. And if they want to win the series, other players that are role players and not their big 3 and Bucks are going to need to be scoring the ball.
I agree with you. I think that it is a great bet. One thing though I would say is that the Bucks have never been this close to a championship before, and a lot of these guys have never been in a situation like this. It's their first time. I think every player on the Bucks is their first appearance in the finals. They're at home, and yes, you could say the pressure's off them, but I think the pressure's even on them even more so because if they don't get it done in Game 6 and they don't have to go back to Phoenix for Game 7. They're going to be faced with tons and tons of pressure. So tonight's their night. They have to close it out. I think they have even more pressure than the Suns do, in my opinion. And shot making and shots going in or out. Sometimes it comes down to pressure. Some guys can handle it. Some guys can't. Remains to be seen if Brook Lopez can. But if he gets some open looks and calms his nerves, I think he should be able to get over 2, but I don't think it's a lock.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it's a lock either. I like the bet because of how much he's going to be shooting, and he's the most experienced, in quotes, player on the team. He's been in the league the longest, so that's why I like this bet. But over to you now. You have a bet about Milwaukee also, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm taking the Chris Middleton over 25.5 points, minus 116. So the past 2 games, he's been on fire. He's scored 29 points and 40 points. And in Game 1, he also scored 29. So, yes, in Game 2 and Game 3, scored 11 and 18. But we're going to be talking about what he's been doing lately. And Middleton's been great from the field. He's been extremely efficient. He shot 12 for 23 last game and 15 for 33 the game before. But he shot 3 for 8 from the 3-point line in both games. Giannis is their best player. But they turned to Chris Middleton to really rely on him heavily from the perimeter and points. He's got his pull-up game going from the mid-range. He's been really hitting his shot from 3. He's been getting to the basket. He's been getting to the line. The one thing that really bugs me about Chris Middleton, I think it pretty much bothers everyone, is that he's shown the ability to be a great player, but he just hasn't shown the consistency. One thing, though, that I do like about this is that Game 6 is in Milwaukee, and he tends to play better at home than he does on the road. So I like this bet over 25.5 minus 116. I think those are pretty good odds. So if he was away, I probably may have thought twice, but he's at home and it's a closeout game. He's been on fire recently. I think they're going to give him the ball a lot. So look for Chris Middleton to shoot the lights out tonight.
Yeah, I really like this bet too. I think over 25.5 isn't a lock necessarily, but he is their closer in the fourth quarter. Giannis is not known as their closer. Chris Middleton is their closer. So if this is a close game in the second half, Middleton will be the guy who's shooting the 3s, shooting the long-range 2-pointers. He's been doing great throughout the season. And if he gets to the free throw line, we know how great a free throw shooter is. He shot 8 free throws last game, went 7 for 8. So I think Middleton will be very close to this, and I think it will go over this odds. I really like this bet. And then we're going to go to my favorite bet I have, which is another Phoenix Suns bet, which is Cam Johnson over 10.5 points. Cam Johnson, great player, can do everything, has been defending Giannis a bit too, and he's not known as a great defender when Ayton's out of the game. He's been playing a good amount of minutes the last few games, 22 and 29 game before that. So in game 5, he didn't play great from the field. He only shot the ball 3 times and made 2 threes, so he got 6 points. But with the minutes he's playing and what they're going to need off the bench, I think over 10.5 is a great bet, plus 146. The last time they were in Milwaukee, he scored 10, and the time before that in Milwaukee, he was one of the best scorers on the team, also scoring 14. He had one of the best plus minuses on the team, shot 5 for 11, 3 for 3 from the free throw line. So I really like this bet, plus 146, because of how great he's been playing in Milwaukee.
I really like Cam Johnson as a player. I don't think he gets enough credit, and I frankly I don't think he gets enough shots. That's part of the reason why I'm going to have to disagree with you on this bet. I think if he were to get more shots, I truly believe he would get over 10.5. But he hasn't been getting enough looks. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because they're feeding Booker so much, which rightfully so. But I believe Cam Johnson's been shooting better than Chris Paul from the field, if I'm not mistaken. But he's a great shooter, very efficient. He does it on both ends of the floor. And one thing is he doesn't shy away from the moment. He doesn't think twice to shoot clutch shots. There were a few. I remember there was an out of bounds play in game 4. I remember where he just caught it in rhythm, shot it all net. And he had that highlight dunk in game 3 or 4. That was really impressive. He's shot the ball well from the field. Like I said, he's a good player. I don't, because of the lack of shot attempts, I kind of find it hard to believe he'll get over 10.5. But if he does get enough shots, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he does hit this bet.
Yeah, like you mentioned, he has been shooting over 50% in every game besides one. He obviously hasn't shot the ball that much in most games. If he gets 6 field goal attempts or 7 field goal attempts, this bet should hit. If he doesn't, then it's probably not going to. But I really like this bet. I am going to be riding it later. And then we're going to be going to the last bet with Ryan.
Talking about another Phoenix Suns role player, Mikal Bridges. He has been great from the field. Talk about efficiency. Mikal Bridges has shot 5 or 6 last game, 3 for 3 from the 3-point line. In game 2, he was 8 for 15 from the field. He scored 27 points in that game, and 14 points in game 1, and 13 points in game 5. He's been great, very reliable for the Suns. Kind of similar to Cam Johnson. He doesn't get as many looks as I would hope him to, but he has been getting slightly more looks than Cam Johnson has. And I think the Suns trust him to get the ball out to him from the perimeter, and he doesn't hesitate when he shoots. And one thing people don't really talk about Bridges is he attacks the basket. He just doesn't rely on his 3-point shot. He's a great player. And I think the Suns are going to need, a role player to really step up if they're going to force the game to game 7. Like I said, I think Booker's going to get a lot of the shots tonight. And I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Paul is a little more aggressive, but they're going to need a third guy. And yes, DeAndre Ayton is a great player, but he hasn't been really aggressive offensively. Yes, he's been playing solid defense, and he's been getting a lot of boards. But they don't really rely to him on offense. I think Bridges and even Crowder maybe are going to supply the Suns some points tonight. And I think Bridges is capable of definitely scoring over 11.5 points.
I'm not the biggest fan of this, but I love Mikal Bridges. But just throughout the series in the away games, there's only been 2 away games. He has not been shooting the ball really at all. He's shot the ball 4 times in game 3 and 4 times in game 4. About shot 2 for 4 and 3 for 4 respectively. But they're just not looking for him for some reason when they're in Milwaukee. I don't know if it's confidence thing, if he just doesn't play great or play well in away games or anything like that. But I don't love this bet because of that. It's like the same situation as Cam Johnson, but Cam Johnson has takes a little more shots, seems like, in the away games. I'm not fully against this bet because I think it can definitely happen. Like we saw, Goody was in game 2, getting 27 points. But if he is on fire from 3, this bet will easily hit, which obviously is a potential of such situation.
Anyways, Aaron, or just we've been talking a lot about prop bets, but who do you like tonight? I mean, that's what everyone wants to hear. Who you got tonight?
After game 3, I said the Bucks would win this game in 7 games. So if I want that to happen, I need the Suns to win this game. But I made most of my prop bets around the Suns because I think they're going to go guns out swinging and stuff like that. But I don't know. Bucks are the best team in the whole NBA at home. So I think I have to go with the Bucks. My heart really wants it to go 7 games, and my heart also wants Chris Paul to win this game.
I feel you. Conventional wisdom tells me to pick the Bucks, and I think I should. The problem is that I just don't see the Suns really folding. And I mean, Booker has been amazing, and I think the third time's a charm. I think when he goes over 40 tonight, I think it's going to really pay dividends. I think Chris Paul is going to play his best basketball tonight. He's facing elimination. This is one of his last chance ever to win a championship. Yes, he's on the road, but he is experienced. And I like PJ Tucker to be very aggressive tonight. Chris Middleton, I'm not sure about his game. I like him over points, but defensively, he has shown to be a little bit of a liability. So yes, it's going to be a very hard-fought game. But I like the Suns to squeak out of Milwaukee and force a game 7.
I don't mind that bet at all, or that saying at all. I hope it happens. Like I said, it's with my heart that I really want the Suns to win. I want Chris Paul to win championship. I want him to go down as a top 3, top 2 even, you could say, point guard of all time. It's going to be tough. Magic Johnson, Oscar Robertson, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash. So it's hard. It's really hard competition. Stephen Curry also, he's going to be up there too. So I really want him to be in that conversation. One of my favorite players when I was younger, back on the Clippers. That was my favorite. The favorite team to watch back in the day, Lob City. So I hope they win this game, and then game 7 will be an amazing matchup. I hope it's not a blowout tonight. That's all I hope for.
Don't be surprised if this game gets really chippy. I think these teams, they don't like each other, and I can tell. And all the chips are on the line. They got a lot of hard-nosed players on both teams. Like I was talking about PJ Tucker for the Suns, Jamison Crowder. You got guys have a lot of respect for each other, for themselves. And neither team is going to fold, and all the chips are on the line. I think it's going to be a very physical game. One thing to watch is it'll be interesting to see how the refs call the game. They have had a tendency to let a lot of plays go. So we'll see how they call tonight in a closeout game. But like I said, I expect it to be very physical and even a little chippy. So we'll see what happens tonight. Like I said, I like the Suns to squeak out of Milwaukee. And I expect it to be a very close game throughout.
I hope it's a close game. I really don't want to blow out. I want our viewership to be on the screen at all times. I don't want to check my phone once during the game. I want to be locked in the game, back and forth game, gritty defense from PJ Tucker, Jay Crowder, players like that, Drew Holiday. I really hope it is. But I think that's going to be it for today. If you're not already subscribed to the Sports 2.0 network, please subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the summer. I think that would be awesome if we could do that. Make sure to follow the Twitch channels, like the Facebook page, and all of that amazing stuff. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you later.